All right, y'all. It's good to be back. It's good to see y'all again, man. We've had a very crazy, interesting off season, and a lot of moves have been made. A lot of moves were supposed to be made that didn't get made. you know, uh, it's been wild. Um, but yeah, well, let's get into it. We're gonna talk about the Steelers offseason moves, as you can see in the title here, and there's been a lot of them. And I can honestly say probably outside of the Commanders and maybe the 49, there's a few teams that had some off-season moves that were really good. But honestly, compared to the Steelers, I mean, we made some moves that just let me just get this out the way. We'll say get this out the way straight away. We're not tanking this season. So whether you wanted that or not, I think for me, I don't believe in any of the quarterbacks in the draft for 2026. And I didn't believe in them in 2025 either. So I think this is probably the year to tank. I don't believe in tanking just to tank. I think you got to tank strategically. And to me, this was actually the season to try to get some losses in. Start Will Howard and see what he does. If he's good, that's great. If he's not, then I mean, we lose games, and then we draft one of these quarterbacks next year, which this class next year seems to be crazy good. I follow these quarterbacks in college football, and there's just a multitude of guys that I'm looking at that I want. But anyway, um, let's get into these moves, man. And I think I could just rattle them off here, just in case people don't know. We got Michael Pittman, 3 years, 59 million, um, from the Colts. I mean, he was arguably the Colts' number one receiver. Obviously, Alec Pierce is the one that got the money from them. But if you ask me today, or you would ask me even during the season, who's better or who would I like more, Michael Pittman or Alec Pierce? I would have chose uh, Michael Pittman. But anyway, Michael Pittman, Jamal Dean. We'll get into it. Sebastian Joseph Day, Rico Dowdle, shocked me. Jaquan Brisker, re-signed Asante Samuel Jr., which I love. Re-signed Cole Holcomb. It's a depth piece right there on the cheap. Cameron Johnston as a punter. He was with us previously. Bringing him back is great. We lost Isaac Smalu at left guard. Kenneth Gainwell, who was the team MVP this year, had a wonderful season. We lost him as well. To bring in the obvious moves in the offseason, we got Mike McCarthy. Tomlin gone. Patrick Graham is our defense coordinator. And we got 12 draft picks in 2026, which is either, I think, first or second at any team in the NFL, which is wonderful. But let's get into the defense here. Man, the secondary looks like it's gonna be an elite secondary, and obviously, let's just get it out the way. Jalen Ramsey, I mean, looks pretty washed to me. He was definitely a candidate that to be cut or traded this season, and I mean, obviously, that didn't happen, but I think that he'll move. He'll probably move permanently to free safety, which is I still think is a move that we need to address. But Jalen Ramsey, I still rate him. I still rate him as a starter. Don't get me wrong, but he's not that elite guy anymore, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. He's still a starter. He still has, I would say, 3 more years in the NFL. I really think he still has plenty of time to be a solid starter. So I don't mind him being on the team. I don't mind him being at free safety, or slot corner. I know being in the slot for him, he can be great in the slot still. He can still be a great slot player. So really don't mind him being here. I know he caught a lot of flack last year for some of the lapses in coverage, but I don't think that's all on him either. But yep. So we got Deshaun Elliott coming back from injury. I mean, we haven't seen Deshaun Elliott in a while. Um, And that kind of transitioned me into Jaquan Brisker. Brisker, man, he's one of my favorite players. Before he came to Steelers, like I love the way this guy plays. If I could play, man, if I was in the NFL, just watch Jaquan Brisker's highlights. That's exactly how I would want to play safety. And this guy is a baller. He's really really good. Like he's really really good. And maybe I'm just a big fan of his, but um, I think he threatens Deshaun Elliott. I think he might end up day one being our strong safe starter at strong safety because he's a legit guy. Like he's not just, oh, we're bringing a backup strong safety. No, like he's gonna be a starter. He's gonna play a lot, and he also can play in the slot as well. So it's a wonderful move. That's one of the moves that happened a little later that was just sensational. So I love that. The biggest move here, obviously, Joey Porter Jr. is still here. Joey Porter Jr. We got to pay this man immediately because this guy looks like an elite player. He looks like a better Ike Taylor. To me he looks like he's a Ike Taylor. Like that's a great comp for him. He's wearing number 24, just like Ike Taylor. It all makes sense. But he's actually Ike Taylor, but better. Um, I truly believe he's better. And honestly, it's funny enough they both don't really catch a lot of interceptions, but they both can really play man to man and zone as well. Honestly, so Joey Porter Jr. We had him second round a couple years ago. Probably one of the best picks we had in a little while. Jamel Dean, man, this is the move that isn't being talked about. And I think it's not being talked about just because no one sees the Steelers as true contenders. But Jamel Dean, Joey Porter Jr. right next to each other, like what? Like how did we pull this off? Obviously we signed him to a 3-year, $36 million deal, which is a bargain. Honestly, it's a bargain. And Tampa Bay wasn't able to bring him back, and we got two great corners on both sides. Let me just say, great corners. But Jamel Dean's he was elite last year. Jamel Dean last season was great. I think maybe some of the hesitation is his past. He was a one year wonder kind of thing. But I believe in the guy. I think he's like I said. I think this is one of the steals of the all season that nobody's talking about. And yeah, that's our secondary right now. That's our secondary. That is our secondary. Two great corners on both sides. Then you got Jalen Ramsey at free safety, which I'm just calling him a starter. He's a starting level player. Deshaun Elliott, I mean, he's still playing at a high level before the injury. And Jaquan Brisker, to me, I mean, he's to me he's better than Deshaun Elliott. To me, he's a potential star. I really believe he's a star. Straight up, he's a star player. And we signed it to a 1-year deal. He's probably trying to bet on himself here and have an elite year, and then splash all that money next year, which I could see happening. So this is great. I mean, what everyone knows, if you have an elite secondary, if your secondary is legit, all it does is help the T.J. Watts, the Highsmiths, the Herbig, the Jack Sawyer, Cam Hayward. It helps all the D line and the linebackers be able to get home and get to the quarterback. And I don't see why I don't see why we don't lead the league in sacks like we usually do in previous years. That I This defense to me is way light years better than it was last year, and we still have a draft to go with. I mean, we gotta get Patrick Queen stepping up. We gotta get Peyton Wilson to finally get to that level where we believe he can be. Get the D line together. I mean, Sebastian Joseph Day we just brought in. I mean, to help with that depth, help with the strength and defensive line. I love what I'm seeing, man. This is a great move by the Steelers. And hey, let's move on to the offense. And the first guy I got to talk about, another deal that shocked me, Rico Dowdle. I mean, I think most of us kind of expected or wanted Kenneth Gainwell to come back, but with that, Kenneth Gainwell went for a 2 year, $14 million deal, and we brought in Rico Dowdle for 2 year, $12 million deal. $2 million really just changed the difference. Now I'm hearing that Kenneth Gainwell wanted to go to Tampa Bay. That was his number one destination even before he came to Pittsburgh. So it kind of makes sense that he chose them over us. That's where he wanted to go. Kind of go where you want to be. Um, but we brought in Rico Dowdle on a deal that's a little less. But Rico Dowdle was a monster last year. He was. There was a point where he was the hottest running back in the league last year, and now we signed him along with Jalen Warren as a tandem. I mean, Jalen Warren's kind of the smaller guy. Rico Dowdle's the bigger guy, and with that, I mean, you got two players that are just two undrafted players that had broken out. And Jalen Warren had a good season last year. Now you bring a Rico Dowdle. Who's the starter? I mean, honestly, is up for debate. They probably will just split. So this will be a backfield that will certainly have both of them eaten. This running back room looks really good. I don't think we dropped off from moving Kenneth Gainwell but bringing in Rico Dowdle. And I'm sure you'll find some people who will say we upgraded with Rico Dowdle. I think we've just solidified the position, and there isn't really a drop off here. I know Kenneth Gainwell's way better out of the passing game, but Jalen Warren is too. Jalen Warren can take that home. Probably not Kenneth Gainwell's level, but efficient enough to be serviceable. And Rico Dowdle, underrated player, can catch the ball as well. He's underrated out the backfield. And the one thing that people keep forgetting is that he's played with he's played with Mike McCarthy in the past. So he's gonna come in knowing the system. Nothing's gonna surprise him here. And I mean, the coolest thing is that he mentioned Jalen Warren hit him up during the season and pretty much told him that, like, bro, you're balling. You look so good. You're putting on for the undrafted free agents, and I love that. I love that. So I'm looking forward to this running back room, and we can really continue to lean on the run. Michael Pittman, saved him for one of the last here because I mean, he's like a 1B 2A kind of, he's kind of like a fringe number one wide receiver, um a really good number two wide receiver, and we're bringing him in as our number two. Um he's a volume guy. He gets a lot of catches. Like I said, I really think, if you ask me personally, I like Pittman more than I like Alec Pierce. If you ask me personally, I know Alec Pierce got the money, and he's the guy that everybody's looking at to take over in Indianapolis. I know they got Josh Downs as well, Tyler Warren, so they got a lot of weapons. But Michael Pittman and me was the number one wide receiver, and I liked him a lot more than Alec Pierce. How he comes to Pittsburgh, he's going to be next to DK Metcalf. I really wouldn't be surprised if he gets more targets than DK. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of times we're looking more to him than even DK. I think DK will be a huge decoy in this situation. He'll be a lot the threat downfield. He'll be a big threat downfield. A lot of people are worried about the big play with DK, and so I think that will give Pittman a lot of space, a lot of time to make a big play, or just chop down the defense and just keep getting first downs, keep getting those intermediate routes. This is such a great move, such an underrated move. Again, that I just don't think people are talking about enough. This duo with him and DK Metcalf. And with that being said, with these offensive moves and the defensive moves, it just kind of shows me that Aaron Rodgers is coming back. We are not tanking at all. So we're gonna run this thing back with just Mike McCarthy, offensive mind. and Aaron Rodgers comes back. I mean, Will Howard once again gets another year to be under Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully, praying that Will Howard doesn't get injured this season again. I kind of want to see him in the preseason. I want him to get a lot of reps in training camp, well, as much as he can, not being the starter. Um, I feel like Aaron Rodgers isn't gonna come until the same time he came last year, until he absolutely has to. And he mentioned this last year that, hey, with this being said, it kind of lets Will Howard get more reps than it would be if Aaron Rodgers was there. Makes sense to me, but I know the media hates it. But Mike Tomlin obviously knew last year that Aaron Rodgers was coming. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same situation here. Like it, hate it, love it, whatever it is, that's the situation. And I'm gonna close out with one more guy here that kind of probably wasn't expected, and but I got to bring it in because it's a notable thing, and I really want people to show love to this guy. Um, this is our DC here, and that's Patrick Graham. Um, he plays a huge role here. He's gonna be he's gonna be a guy that we really, I think we're gonna start loving and praising. The crazy thing with him is that he was the DC with the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. Almost said Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. He does more with less. That's like his thing. That's what he's known for, doing more with less talent. They had Max Crosby, so of course he had a great player. When he comes to Pittsburgh, he's gonna have way more star talent. He's never had this much talent before. So now he gets to come to Pittsburgh with his. I mean, we're gonna run the 3-4 defense like we always do, but he's not tied to one defensive style. That's the thing. He can run that base 3-4, but he's gonna go man heavy, a lot of blitz, too high safety. I mean, a lot of simulated pressure that you don't really see coming. Which is great against younger quarterbacks. I mean, this is another crazy good move, and I'm just like, I think he's gonna be a guy that's loved in Pittsburgh. Um, and unfortunately, hopefully, I mean, obviously for him, you would love for him to get a head coaching job somewhere eventually, but I think he's gonna be sensational for us. He's great working with young guys. I mean, this guy is he's a guy who knows how to um, adjust. He can adjust to what he has. And surprising enough, the Raiders had a top 10 scoring defense in 2023, which would blow my mind because I looked at that roster and that roster was not top 10. So, top 10 scoring defense. I think this defense will be a lot better. We upgraded it I think this is a huge upgrade in DC. Our defense coordinator position just upgraded levels. So, I mean, that's what I got for y'all, man. This has been a great offseason for the Steelers, depending on how you look at it, right? A little longer video than I thought it was gonna be, but we made so many moves that I just felt like I had to cover it all. I appreciate y'all for coming. We got the draft coming up. We got the combine just passed a couple weeks ago. We got a whole lot of things that are going to be happening in the next month or two, and yeah, we're gonna dive into it, talk a little more, especially with the draft coming up. So I appreciate y'all coming through. Thank you very much.